You're listening to Finances Demystified with Dominique Broadway, the podcast that provokes the conversation of money, demystifies all your finances, and shows you how to bring all of your dreams to reality so that you can live your very best life on your own terms. Welcome back to another episode of Finances Demystified with Dominique Broadway. And of course, I am your host, Dominique, and I am excited today. And I know I probably say that every single episode, but I'm excited today because today's episode is a little bit different. And today we're actually going to be chatting with someone who has worked with me on a one-on-one basis before, and her name is April Stewart. And April is dynamic because she has been able to become a millionaire by the age of 38. And it was interesting on our call that we had, and I was like, wow, you're like officially a millionaire. And she was just kind of like, wait, really? Which was really interesting. So April, I'm so excited that you're joining us today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk with you. And
yeah, me too. And I remember, you scheduled a session and we were kind of going over your numbers, and I had to stop and say, I am very impressed with what you've done so far. And, because a lot of times people, reach out for sessions. Some people have financial issues. Some people are like yourself. They're just trying to take their finances to the next level. But it's always really impressive when people are just kind of naturally going with the financial flow and, able to make it happen. And let me just read just a quick little information about April so you guys get an idea of who April is. So April is an engineer by trade, but she has a passion for personal finance and teaching financial literacy to youth. Leveraging her financial successes and the knowledge that she's gained, her mission is to heal and empower the youth of her community through researching, designing, and teaching personal finance. So April, how did you get into or gain this passion in personal finance? It's not a lot of times I get to meet other, financial geeks like myself. So tell me, what kind of originally got you interested in this topic?
Right, and I like the term financial geek because I definitely consider myself that. So I think that my passion for personal finance came from just my upbringing. Quite honestly, the fact that I didn't see, good money habits being exhibited around me, in my family, and the way I was brought up, and I actually saw negative relationships with money. And I just chose to do the opposite of that. So, whatever I saw around me, whatever was going on, I just knew that I wanted to do the opposite and, have a better relationship with money. So when I bought my house at the age of 23, and it wasn't really my plan. I know I wanted to move after college. I went back home with my parents, and I knew that I wanted to move out. And, I was going to move with a couple of friends and rent a house. But they were like, if we're going to do this, we'd rather someone buy a house and we help them with their mortgage. Like, we don't all want to continue to pay rent. So, I didn't really want to get a mortgage, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I had two friends that were going to move with me, and they both ended up backing out. Like, one a month before I was closing, and the other one the day of closing. Like, when I called her to say I had the keys, she was like, oh, change your plans. And, she no longer was going to move, but there was no turning back at that point. I had the keys. And so I moved into the house. And actually another thing that happened after that was I, bought my first car because I figured, I'm a homeowner now. I should have transportation, to do things related to the house. I bought a car for the first time. And then a month after all of that happened, I was laid off from my job. Because, they were doing like reductions. And so it was a very scary time, to say the least, but it actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I was able to find another job and get back on my feet. And, it was great to not end up having to share my house with roommates. So
yeah.
While I was initially scary.
Did you ever end up actually getting roommates?
No, never.
No? Okay.
So I've always been here by myself, and my mom, later told me, don't ever let anyone move in with you, let your house be your sanctuary.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. So it was a blessing in disguise.
It is. It is. So that was kind of your first real investment, right?
Yes.
And so from there, can you tell us a little bit about like what you've been doing with your retirement accounts? I think I was so intrigued with obviously the investment you made with your home, in addition to the contributions you've been making towards your future via retirement. And yeah, can you just tell us a bit about that and what you've been doing there?
Yes, I would say like when I first got out of college, I didn't, realize the importance of retirement investment. Like no one ever talked to me about that. I knew it was a
Mm-hmm.
benefit of the job, but I kind of ignored it for my first few years in the workforce. But then I eventually, caught on and realized that I need to invest in retirement. So I started to do that. And of course, I learned that, you always do it at least to the company match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did that and beyond. And then as I continued to like read up on personal finance and learn more, I, learned that, um, I wanted to contribute as much as possible and get to the point of, now I'm to the point of, doing the IRS max.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that, there's probably still more beyond that to go because I think ideally you want to invest 15% of your income into retirement
Mm-hmm.
funding.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I'm quite there, the 15% mark. So actually, next step, I want to see if there's anything else, I can invest in beyond that. But so yeah, I think it's important to invest, at least at the company match. But beyond that, if you can get up to 15% of your income.
Okay. So you've been, kind of contributing as much as you can consistently. You haven't had to pull out of your retirement plan from work, which I'm sure is also good.
No.
But also, I think what I was also really intrigued by was your personal budget and um, the kind of frugality that you have displayed over, I guess, the past, since you've been adulting, which has helped to propel you to hit that millionaire status by 38. Can you tell us a bit about just kind of your monthly budget or monthly spending, and how you're able to kind of stick with it so that you are able to, I think you're paying double on your mortgage, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think budgeting is very important. Honestly, I don't think you can do this without doing a budget, a
Yeah.
monthly budget. And I think, the budget is the most important, toolbox in the toolkit. So,
Mm-hmm.
or the
Mm-hmm.
tool in the toolkit.
Yeah.
So basically, I do a budget each month
Mm-hmm.
before the month starts, and I do a budget for that month. And the thing with budgeting is knowing how to budget. So I remember, years ago, I had a friend, sort of a mentor at work, and he tried to get me budgeting. And most people would just try to set up a specific budget that they try to live by each month.
Mm-hmm.
And that just felt too rigid. I didn't like that. So
Mm.
I never took to that. So, what I do is I create a budget for that particular month. Your life changes every month. So, before the month starts, I think about, what expenses I'm going to have that month, what activities I'm going to do that month, create a budget for that month, and then know that when the next month comes, I can create a budget that's specific to that month. And
Mm.
budgeting that way just felt a lot better to me. And
Mhm.
it made me able to, stick with it. And then also I found that when you start to budget, because before that, I felt like my money was a black hole. I didn't actually know what my money was doing.
Mm.
Once I started to create the budget, I had insight into my money. I actually see my money on paper.
Yeah.
And, I could tell my money what to do each month. So I felt like I actually got a raise once I started to budget because I realized how much money I actually had.
Mm.
And I think once you kind of discover that, you know where to apply your money to, how much you're actually working with. And, you can often find that you have more than you realize. And then
Yeah.
when you're intentional with your money, like you can do more with it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very true. How do you use any tools at all to manage your money on a daily? I mean, yeah, that's a
I,
daily or monthly basis, other than like the bank apps and stuff like that.
no, I don't. I use Excel spreadsheet. And I guess that's maybe the nerd in me because I like crunching numbers. I like playing with numbers. So I just do it in Excel. I know that there are different apps you can use or tools you can use to do budgets, but I just use Excel and Excel spreadsheet. And I have, form, something I set up that's automated. I can plug in numbers and then calculate things. But that's the way I do it.
Okay. And when you decided to that you wanted to pay your mortgage off quickly and accelerate that, like how did you make that decision? And then what did you do financially to prepare to double up on your payments?
So I decided to do that because, I want to be free. Like I definitely believe, the borrower is slave to the lender, and, you're enslaved when you're in debt. So I wanted to become free as soon as possible. So, even before going aggressive with the mortgage, I went debt free in the rest of my life. So at the time I had student loan. I think I had a car loan, back in 2018 when I kind of really started this journey. 2008 when I started this journey, and, really got intentional about it. And I paid off a little over 25,000 in debt in about 8 months.
Wow.
Just focus intensity. Like I put life on pause. I knew that this was, it was for a certain purpose and it's for a certain time. So, I stopped going out, stopped shopping, stopped gift giving, like all that, put all of that on hold so that I could, focus all my income and my resources on paying off the debt, paying off my student loan, my car loan. And then once I, had that free, I was able to use my income to establish a emergency fund. I guess, life's, mishaps or anything that can come along in life.
Yeah.
I set up an emergency fund of 6 months of expenses. And then from there, I started to focus my money on throwing extra at the mortgage. And basically, because I believe that your income is your, greatest wealth building tool. So if I cannot have a mortgage and if I just have complete access to my income, that's just amazing. Like that opens up so much for you. So, I just decided I want this mortgage gone as soon as possible so that, I just have my income to, invest more, to give more, to, do whatever I want to do. And fortunately I do, I do have a good income. And I keep my expenses, I live below my means. I keep my expenses low. So I really have a lot of room in my monthly budget to do extra with. So my mortgage is my first priority. So I more than double my mortgage, what I pay monthly. And then, with the rest I give charitable contributions monthly. And, but yeah, I just think that the biggest thing is, living below your expenses is not just about your income and how much you make. It's about what you do with it. So you can have people making $200,000, but they live this very luxurious, expensive lifestyle, and they spend all they have.
Yeah.
And, and someone could be making 50,000 and living below their means, and, be intentional with their money and their goals. So, people try to use income as an excuse, like, oh, if I made 6 figures, I could do that. But it's not always really about that. It's about what you do with your money.
Yeah, no, it's really true. And that's, like you said, that's really what it boils down to. It's all about what you do with it. Because there's tons of people, obviously we see them all the time, who are, play sports or whatever, making tons of money and still end up broke, right? So all down with it's not how much you make, it really is what you do with it. So I think that's really important. And so I guess with obviously you've been buying the house, which obviously has increased in equity, right? Which has helped lend to your increase in net worth and helping you kind of hit that millionaire status.
Right.
But also too, like you said, the retirement piece as well. So I know you have a pretty, like I said, with you doubling up on your mortgage, you have an aggressive plan to pay off your mortgage soon. So
yes.
how much more time do you have, and what's that date where your mortgage will be completely paid off?
So using just a mortgage calculator I found online, I am projected to be done in 2 years. So I believe December of 2019, I believe 2020. So roughly like 2 years from now.
Okay.
Mortgage will be done. I'll be completely free.
That's awesome. So 2 years from now, you'll be 100% debt free, house owned, free and clear, $1 million net worth. What what's next? What will you do that? Because you'll only be what, 40 something? Like you'll be really, really young at that time. So what do you
42.
do? I mean, yeah, you'll be 42 and you could probably technically retire if you wanted to. What are your thoughts? Are you surprised that you're that close to reaching that level of financial freedom? And what do you think you want to do next?
I am, and actually, like a month or two ago, when I put the numbers into the mortgage calculator and realized I only had 2 years left, like I actually was shocked. I didn't realize it was that close.
Uh-huh.
So that was really exciting. Like, and that just opened up my mind to just dream. I'm like, oh wow, like okay, yeah.
Wow.
Like, what do you want to
Yeah.
do? Like, yeah, you're gonna have so many options now. So, as I mentioned, I definitely have a passion for personal finance
Mhm.
and a passion for youth, and taking that bringing this information to them, sharing the knowledge I've acquired, the successes I've had, my personal experiences, to teach them, the generation that's coming behind,
Mhm.
and especially Black youth, because I think they're definitely an overlooked and underserved community in terms of uh, receiving financial
Mhm.
education. So, I'd like to um, become the go-to person for youth financial education. Maybe doing things like workshops, lectures, development curriculum,
Mhm.
webinars, the sort. Like I want to really, touch my community with, financial education for youth.
Okay, I love it. So what do you feel um, with, yeah, I guess with kind of your journey so far and your experience with your finances and being, well, actually, before I ask you a question, how do you think you've been able to maintain your consistency and your discipline with your finances? I know that's something that most people are dealing with. Or do you feel like you're just naturally a disciplined person? Um, but yeah, how do you feel like you've been able to just stay consistent for so many years? Obviously, consistency has paid off for you.
Hmm.
So yeah, how have you been able to stay so consistent?
I do think discipline is a natural for me.
Mm-hmm.
So being an engineer, I'm very structured, organized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that naturally comes to me. But then I'm also a visionary. Like I think about the big picture, and I'm not very impulsive. I don't act on also all the time what feels good, what
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, what drives your emotions. I like to stop and step back and think about things, think through things, think about the big picture, and I also I guess I would say that I'm really driven by being able to be free and live life on my terms. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
if I don't keep myself consistent
Mm-hmm.
and focused on doing, I mean, I just know that this is a way to gain freedom.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, that kind of keeps me, of course, like I know that that's the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have a hard time with staying with it because I know that if I really focus in and stay intense with it, that it
Mm-hmm.
won't be a long road. I can get it done quickly, and then it'll all be worth it. And then also, I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses. I don't care about
Yeah, yeah.
impressing people and what they think about me. I don't have to buy a car or lease a
Mm-hmm.
car every couple of years. Like
Mm-hmm.
buy something quality and keep it. And same with life. I mean, I like nice things. I'm still traveling and living my life,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying
Mm-hmm.
my life, but in balance, in balance with my goals and what I believe is really important for me, important for
Yeah.
life. And then also, I want to, aside from, myself and being comfortable, I want these resources to, share with others, share with my community. Like I said, I do charitable contributions. So, I believe that I'm being, entrusted with this money, being given stewardship over this money to also share with others and to help others.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's an important part of what I'm meant to do and why I have these resources.
I love it. I love it. So basically, keeping your eye on the prize is kind of what keeps you motivated, and I guess that freedom.
Yes.
I guess you're fine with delayed gratification, and a lot of people aren't. So,
Yes.
if I could just like insert that enjoyment of delayed gratification to everybody else, then we be in a whole other different situation, right? Um,
Right.
so, I guess, are there any just last things you want to share, or just any lessons you feel like, there's one thing that everyone can do now to hit those financial goals? Some people may still be able to hit that $1 million mark by 38, like you. What are those kind of like last parting words? Like, hey, do this one thing now to get closer to your goals. What's that thing for you that you want to share?
Um, I definitely would say you have to start with the budget. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that, people, don't want to do it. It seems boring. The topic of finance seems boring. They don't want to, concern themselves with that. But I think, you have to create a roadmap. You have to put a plan,
Mm-hmm.
put your money, put a plan around your money.
Yeah.
And so I think, if they can just at least start there, with creating a monthly budget, and getting rid of your debt. I would say get rid of your debt, and don't take on more. Like, focus on what you really need to do, and not take on unnecessary debt. And I think that if you can free up your income, then you'll be leaps and bounds along the way. Because I mean, it really is about using your income as a wealth building tool.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. It's the ultimate wealth building tool. Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to share before we wrap up? Is that it?
Um, I guess I would just say that, I think slow and steady, wins the race. So
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, some people feel like, it's too late, and or I haven't put these things into place. I haven't started yet. But like, start wherever you are. Do whatever you can. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there may be things that you have heard about that you know to do. Put those things in place, and then as you go along the journey, you'll learn more things. You'll figure out more things. To add. More strategies to add, and that's fine. Like, you don't have to know it all right now. Put it into place as you know it. But I would just say, start, do something. Like, don't feel defeated. Don't feel like I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say those that are, much younger than me that are just starting, you can start this road and be on this road. And those are, around my age or older, you can start where you are and, get on the road. But I would say just start, just do it, just act. Like, your life is within your control. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't just let it happen to you. Like, happen to your life, happen to your money.
Yeah, I like that. Happen to your life. That's really good. I love that. I love that. Okay, so I think also too, just really quickly when we're talking about net worth, and how April's hit that $1 million net worth status starting well by 38. Um, your net worth is calculated based on your assets minus your liabilities. So basically, if you have, equity in your home, or if you have money in savings accounts or money in investing accounts, or anything else that's valuable, you take that number, you subtract how much you owe, and then if that amount is a positive number, that means you have a positive net worth. If you have a negative number, that means you have a negative net worth. So in April's situation, which makes her a millionaire, that means that her assets minus her liabilities are over our million or up, which is really cool. So just to kind of clarify what that means, and we'll put all that like in the show notes, how you can calculate your own net worth and see where you are. You never know, you might be surprised, you might be a millionaire as well. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. So thank you again.
Thank you
Um,
for having me.
yeah, thank you so much. And how, if people wanted to reach out to you or whatever, what's the best way for them to reach you? We'll put it in the show notes as well.
So my Instagram, is at Stewart, and as you mentioned, it'll be in the show notes. And I will say that I'm not big on social media,
Yeah.
but I know that getting to what I want to do with, the youth financial education. I'll have to, take on that more. So,
Yeah, we gotta
right
get you
now,
out there. You have a
right.
story.
So
You have
right,
to share it.
yeah. Right now it's blank, but I will, start to work with that and get more information out there. And I am actually working to do like some kind of back to school
Mm.
type of workshop in October.
Okay.
So I definitely will put that out there, and then it's just a way to reach me. Like if anyone wants
Yeah, and
to
then let
direct.
us know. Obviously, we'll share it with the email list and stuff like that for people who are
Okay, yeah.
interested in the DC Maryland area. I want to come out to that workshop. So, all right. Well, thank you again for joining us, April. I really appreciate you being transparent about your financial situation and how you were able to build, and also really dropping and sharing with other people how they can do the same, and that it is doable with discipline, taking action, and just staying consistent, keeping your eye on the prize. So that has been another episode of Finances Demystified. Thank you so much again, April, and thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see and I guess talk to you all very soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.